Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the second official episode of the Prezi Podcast. I am your host, as well as your Vice President of Communications, Lucas Crawford. I got some exciting news for you today, guys. As of December, we have officially reached the 300 mark for employees for the company. And as of yesterday, we just eclipsed the $40 million mark, finally, as a company. It's been a heck of a ride for 2024. We're excited to see where the rest of the year is going to take us. Let's kick in for episode 2. Welcome to episode 2. Today we have a very special guest for everybody. He is a 2-time March Madness winner, previous Marketer Rep of the Year, not Sales Rep of the Year, sorry, skip that because he never accomplished that in his career, but he is your very own Vice President of Marketing in Virginia, Mr. Shane Cleveland. Hey, Shane.
Hi, Lucas.
What's up, bud?
What's up, man?
How you feeling? Sorry, I almost screwed up some of your accolades there. I forgot that you never quite got Sales Rep of the Year. Yeah. So, Shane, I think, we got to ask the most important question right now, right? And I think everybody, all your viewers, all your supporters, all the people that look up to you, all the new employees that are coming in, right, to the company.
Yep.
Everybody wants to know the answer to this question.
Sure.
When you won March Madness, why did you choose the jet ski over the Rolex?
Well, I'm more of an outdoors guy. Okay. I love that jet ski. I mean, I've put probably about 65 hours on the thing since I've had it. And fun fact, the Rolex that was given out that year has actually decreased in value. So I think I made the right financial decision.
It's funny that you say that. Because a jet ski, what are you doing with it right now? Is it collecting dust right now?
No, it's
in the garage.
It's in storage right now.
It's storage. Oh, yeah. Okay. So it's not an all-around.
It's winter time. We don't want to go jet skiing in 30 degrees.
Well, the Rolex is very expensive, and you could have worn that all year round.
But
you know what? I'll give you credit. That jet ski is fun. I have yet to ride it because you've not invited me to ride it yet.
I've invited
you. You've parked it in my parking space.
I have.
You have, and that's the closest I've gotten to it. Well, Shane, you've been with the company for a long time. So you started with when you're 19, right?
Yeah.
What were you doing prior to your choice to come to Presidential Exteriors? And why did you choose to come to Presidential Exteriors?
Yeah. Prior to Presidential, I was working at Red Lobster and Silver Diner.
Red Lobster and Silver Diner.
Red Lobster and Silver Diner. That's what I was doing. Didn't go to college. Also tried to get into the military when I was younger, but unfortunately didn't work out because I had a heart problem when I was younger. And the reason I decided to come to Presidential was just luck of the draw. I mean, I threw my resume on Indeed. Our recruiter at the time gave me a call, had an interview with Chris, and just went from there.
Didn't you work at McDonald's too as well at one point?
Yeah, a long time ago.
Jesus.
I was 15 when I was working at McDonald's. Yeah.
And you still love McDonald's to this day?
Love it.
Okay, what's your go-to order from McDonald's?
I'm not that. I think we're on different wavelengths. I'm not that big of a McDonald's fan. But if I had to order something right this second, because I'm kind of hungry, 10-piece nugget, medium fry, large Coke, and a double cheeseburger with no pickles.
Oh, okay.
You're a big McDonald's fan too.
I'm a big McDonald's fan.
What's your go-to order?
Ooh, you want to hear this bad boy?
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm a thick boy. Okay. Listen here, guys. Okay. Double quarter pounder, bacon and cheese.
Starting off hot.
Hot. I got a medium. Sometimes,
yeah,
if I'm feeling frisky, I'll get a
too.
large, but usually medium.
Yeah.
Because the burgers already enough calories,
Right.
and you get a Coke.
Yeah.
Nothing beats a fresh McDonald's Coke.
Oh, nothing at all.
Nothing. There's
Do you know why McDonald's Coke tastes different? Something about the way that it's actually stored at McDonald's and the tubing that it goes through or something like that.
I mean, you worked there. Is that true?
I have no idea.
You're telling me
I was 15 years old.
And you didn't think to look how they stored the Coke?
No. I never touched the Coke machine. I was a cashier.
Oh.
They didn't let me touch the food.
Look at you all being about the money since you were 15.
Hell yeah.
Handle money. Okay, all right. So you got through marketing, right? And you're a rising star.
Mm-hmm.
And you've moved over into sales. Take the viewers and through that process on, how you achieve that and what that meant to you and overall how you were able to do that.
Yeah, I mean, my original goal when I was in marketing actually wasn't to go directly into sales. My goal was to become the assistant director and then ideally the director from there. So I start date was June 3rd, 2019. Started pretty much same shoes everybody does, right? learned the ins and outs of the script. Billy Gibson was the director at the time, so he pretty much taught me everything that I knew in marketing. Hit the ground running, was able to bonus my second week out in the field, and then continued to try to keep that level of performance. Eventually, Mo P., who was the assistant director at the time, moved into sales, so I kind of took on that role once he did that. And about 2 months into, being an unofficial director, I guess you could say, Billy came to me and asked me if I wanted to transition to that sales role. So I decided to go that route.
Now, what are some of the challenges, especially in marketing, that you faced that you could give someone advice on how to overcome those obstacles and challenges?
I mean, the hardest thing with marketing is just keeping that constant positive mindset. I mean, the reason that we start people in marketing is to be able to deal with rejection. I mean, that's the number one thing in sales is learning how to deal with rejection. Obviously, there's a lot of training involved because most of the people that we have come in don't know anything about exterior modeling. So our goal is to train them into being experts, right? So for me, the hardest thing was just keeping that positive mental mindset, no matter what interactions I have with the homeowner, right? So, if you knock on somebody's door and they're having a bad day, like you can't hold that against everybody else that you talk to.
Yeah.
So just keeping that positive mentality and always be learning, right? Always be trying to improve.
I agree. You are a very positive person. You have your moments, right? You're not a very patient person.
No, not
and I've learned that very well over the last year. Now that we play video games together and playing Call of Duty, you are not patient one single bit. And in anything that we plan, you have very big impulses, right? Booking trips in advance and things of that nature. But I think that also, in a way, me kind of learning it has also kind of like helped you also in your career here.
Yeah.
Because you're so quick to try and learn as much as you can, obtain knowledge as much as possible. You weren't scared to bat down anybody's door to ask a question and learn something that you didn't know, so that way you could be better equipped to handle things out in the field.
Yeah, and a lot of that, goes to everybody that's taught me over the years, right? Because when I came here, I mean, like I said, I came from the restaurant industry. I didn't know anything about sales. I didn't know anything about construction. Everything that I learned from people that were currently working here. I mean, Billy, Mike Bureau, yourself, Chris. Like, yes, I did go out and, look for that guidance, but, I mean, everybody in the company is really what made me to what I am today.
So, now transition that success to sales, right?
Sure.
You look at the challenges you faced over in the sales side of things. Can you kind of take us through that and, really speak on the trials, tributes, the hard parts of sales? Because people think like, oh, the sales is the big leagues, right? That's where you're going to make your money. And in fact, yes, you're going to make a lot of money.
Oh, yeah.
You can make just as good money doing marketing, right? But what does it take to transition over into sales and still be successful in that area?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it is that, like I said earlier, continuous training. I mean, there's still a lot to learn even coming out of marketing. You got to know the ins and outs of the products. You got to know the ins and outs of the company, the installs, the warranties, the manufacturers. I mean, there's a lot to learn in a very short period of time so that we can start being successful quickly. And the other really big part of it is not letting the highs get too high and not letting the lows get too low. Right? Because in sales, it's very common for people to come in and have a hot start because they're new, they got that fire under them, they want to go out and make all that money that they've been hearing about and all that. And the next thing you know, it's just a massive slump hits, right? They had a bad couple appointments, ran into a couple no pitches, and then they get in those lows, and they let those lows get too low, and then eventually burn out. So really just being able to keep a level mindset throughout your career in sales, no matter what happens, even if you sell, $350,000, $450,000 in a month, you can't ride that high to extreme levels for too long. Like you want to make sure you're level-headed throughout that entire time, of course.
You've had a lot of experiences in life, right? Whether it's professionally or even just in personal life, right? And I think actually, even say that like some of your even outdoor hobbies that you like to do, whether it's because I know you're big on hunting and just enjoying life, but even that little aspect, you have to create a level head. You have to be patient in that aspect, which that's the only thing you're pretty much patient for is hunting. Which is crazy to think about.
Yeah. In the woods for.
Actually, I take that back. You did call me one night at 7:00 at night to drive down to Woodbridge, an hour away, to come help you track a deer.
I did,
that
yes.
you found an hour later, which would have meant if I left my house and got there, you would have found the deer as I pulled up.
Pretty much, yep.
And then I'm positive you probably would have conned me and be like, well, now that you're here, let's go to the casino.
Oh, for sure, 100%.
Yeah. How are we going to take what you learned in marketing, what you've taken in sales, everything you've learned from the company, everything you've done just in life overall, and how do you compile that and add that to you as a vice president, not only of presidential, but obviously as your department?
Yeah, I mean, I think any vice president needs the experience from many different aspects in order to be a successful vice president, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that's one of the big things I love about presidential is we always promote from within, right? We're not bringing, some past VP into a VP role here. So I think it's very important for people to, get the knowledge that they need from experiencing it at presidential in order to be a successful vice president. Just the overall experience throughout the different roles within the company is one of the most important things for our vice president.
You mentioned something that, I think people always tend to forget sometimes is we promote from within, which is it's a big part of our company.
Yeah.
Right. And you are a product of that environment to the T. And I think this episode is so important to a lot of people because you being that product of 19 years old, probably not knowing what you're doing in life, where you're going.
Yeah.
Just a kid who just wants to go have fun, enjoy, learn, and be a pain in my ass, right? Which ever since you walked in, that's how it's been. But love you nonetheless. But you've grown into what you are now, right?
Yeah.
When did you buy your house?
I was 22.
22.
Yeah.
I think I tell people 21, but that's close. 22 is just.
I just turned 22 essentially.
So, either way, obviously now that you're a VP of Virginia, what are some of the things that you've tried to implement yourself to make sure that your office is running as successful and as consistent as it is?
Yeah. So there's two big things that I try to focus on, right? Number one's obvious. Number one's training. Second thing is, I think David said best. What he said is make sure that your employees are happy first, right? Employees and then customers. And don't get me wrong, obviously we want all of our customers to be happy. But at the end of the day, if our employees are happy, they will in turn make our customers happy.
Yep.
So my goal is to make sure that all of my marketers feel heard, right? So every mentor meeting, I open the floor to my mentors to give suggestions or ideas that they think would help benefit the department. And Curly and I both have one-on-ones available every single day of the week for people to come in and have conversations with us about anything, whether it's training or just overall life circumstances, whatever the case may be.
When I was selling mattresses, we didn't have that consistent training. And that was one of the biggest things that I think most companies lack is the consistency part of it, right? And in our company, there's training every day, whether it's one-on-ones or whether it's team organized trainings, marketing especially. There's training every day. You got to get the engine started before you even get out in the field to go do your work if you really want to be successful, right? I mean, as a company overall, we've issued at least when I last checked, over 500 more appointments this year than we did last year.
Yeah.
So we're running more appointments, and a big part of that is due to the marketing department, right?
Yeah.
It's definitely a whole team effort, right, from the whole company overall. But marketing is in a very good place. Things can always be better in certain areas.
Oh, of course.
But I sat in your meeting today, and there was a lot of good energy. A lot of people were excited. A lot of people were yelling and screaming with the joy and excitement, right? And I think that's one of the key pieces to any good culture environment. We got to work.
Oh, yeah.
We got to grind. We got to hustle. We got to get gritty, right?
Yeah.
And especially right now,
this time of year.
Especially this time of the year.
Yeah.
This year has come with a lot of challenges. You and I both know that. We've been through it. We've had our moments. We've gone head to head, whether it's here in the office or virtually over a Call of Duty game. We're just letting those frustrations go. With those challenges that we've kind of ran into, how do you keep your team really just path forward, grind mode, and with the mindset that we got to be successful? What's the secret sauce that you put in?
I mean, it kind of ties back to that just constant making sure your employees are happy. I mean, we do a bunch of stuff other than just what, the company provides. I mean, I've had probably 4 or 5 parties at my house this year just to, get the marketers over, have some fun, get together. We run constant competitions. There's, some days that we run those promos to get them a little bit more energized. So it all boils back down to just making sure that the employees are enjoying what they're doing, because, I mean, at the end of the day, that marketer is the very first interaction that anybody that we deal with is going to see, right? Or the first interaction that they're going to have with their company. So, if you have a marketer that's super down or sad or, not enjoying their job, and they give that, persona at the door, that client might not want to be, associated with their company. But if they're, having a good time and enjoying going out there, and the camaraderie in the department's good, and, that type of stuff, that's the, the vibes that we want to give off when it comes to those first interactions with homeowners. So, yes, we've had tough times. Yes, it's, been difficult at points, but just being able to push through and making sure everybody's, in a good place mentally is really what it boils down to. And
it's worked.
Yeah.
$40 million.
$40 million, baby.
With Virginia has accounted for the $40 million. What about 15 of it, if I'm correct?
Virginia 16? Marketing alone has done 12. Rockville alone has done, I believe, 16.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And then it comes from
call center,
insurance, all that stuff.
QA insurance, yeah. So, I mean, a lot of volume.
Yeah, I mean, we started the Fairfax office with 11 people. 11 marketers.
Pretty much everybody in your house.
Yeah, pretty much. But to start the Virginia location with 11 marketers and get all the way up to about 40 marketers, and be able to do $12 million our first year and being open, I mean, I couldn't be more happy with it. I mean, we've seen a lot of progress over this year.
Yeah, and when you talked about like creating incentive, intercompetitions, promos, doing fun things. We've got a big one this month, right, to kind of close out the year, right? And which is the first time we've done this in now the 9 years of Prezi, right? Which is 18 days of Prezi, aka Ice Madness, right? As the VPs kind of came together, it was like, what can we do to also kind of give back? Yeah. Right? And I think it's one of the coolest ideas we ever came up with. It actually was Sharky's idea. Yeah. So thanks, for everybody out there, great job, Sharks. Every day we create a new challenge, right? That's already been planned in advance. And if people accomplish a challenge, they're getting a raffle ticket, a lottery ticket, right?
Oh, yeah. And when we're in Cancun, we're going to do the drawing for a ski trip. So there will be one person from every department. The winners of the winners of the drawing essentially will get to go on an all-inclusive ski trip with all the vice presidents, Chris, David, and we're looking at a couple cool resorts that we're gonna choose from. So the other competition is the Ice Madness competition. The way that it works, well, at least for Virginia marketing, because it is different for every department. So what I did was I took it to just the Virginia side. Okay. So we're basically doing a March Madness style bracket for the last 18 days of December. And then the winner of this competition will end up getting $2,500.
Man, that's $2,500 is a lot of money.
It is a lot of money.
That's a lot of Christmas gifts.
It is a lot of
Christmas gifts. That's a lot of fun in Mexico. I mean, how do you think the team has, reacted to the challenge? I mean, hearing this morning, everybody seemed pretty stoked about it. Oh, yeah. As you're kind of going through,
No, I think everybody loves it. I think it's been really good for morale. The one thing that I've loved about Virginia ever since we've opened up is the camaraderie that they have, right? I mean, the camaraderie in Virginia is something that we haven't seen, I think, really ever. Yeah. They all love each other. They all go out and have fun. The competitions that we have going right now is definitely, picking that up even more, right? Because, yes, they have the camaraderie, but they also want that competition aspect of things. They all want to be the best. They all want to get into sales. They all want to be senior marketing mentor. And Cancun teaser, I will be announcing the new senior marketing mentor for Virginia.
Wow. Yeah. You just going to drop that bombshell on today's episode?
I am going to drop
that bombshell. Wow, you heard it here first.
Not going to announce who it is, but...
wow. Do you already know who you're going to select, or is it between a couple people?
It's between a couple people right now.
Okay, so like 2, 3?
3.
Okay, can you give descriptions? What do they look like? Are they tall? No. Hefty? Are they muscular? Long hair, short hair? Beard, no beard?
We'll leave it at 3. I've teased enough that we're going to announce it in Cancun.
Still a long road ahead of us. And, ultimate goal, right? You talk about all this competition, everything that's kind of happened this year. All the roads lead to Mexico.
All the roads lead to Mexico.
And that's the time of the year that we're all excited for. I want everybody to just go have fun, relax, get their drink on,
it's New Year's,
have a good time. It's New Year's party, which for those guys who don't know, if you've not seen the flyers, it's going to be a masquerade party. Put your mask on, dress to impress. We're going to have a great time. And as long as you're wearing your mask, no one's going to know who you are. Out of the resorts you've been to so far, how do you compare Hard Rock as a resort?
Hard Rock is...
Fill the people in.
You guys... Hard Rock is by far the best resort that we've been to.
It's a great mix of everything.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you have nice beaches, no alligators this year.
No alligators.
Which is awesome.
No alligators.
Not trying to be near alligators.
And they also have that private, beach area. The biggest thing with the Mexico trips is really just being able to hang out with everybody within the company, right? Because a lot of times, I don't want to say we get in groups, right? But marketing is doing marketing, sales is doing sales, call center operations, so on and so forth. Cancun is everybody together, and it is one of the best times that you're ever going to have. And you get to experience it with everybody in the company. You get to branch out and see what other positions might have to offer, especially for the marketers, right? They don't get to talk to a lot of the operations guys or the call center guys or the, sales guys, right? Like they there can talk to everybody, get a feel of what they want to do. So networking, I guess you could call it, right? Like really get a feel for everybody, and the different positions, and just having fun, right? Have fun, enjoy it.
It's hard work. We've been busting our asses January through December. Yeah. Right? Blood, sweat, tears. Some people with broken bones. Right? Some people will just, everybody's going through a lot, right? Yeah. And, all in good ways. Like, the company's on the up and up. As of October of this year, we're in the top 50 of fastest growing remodeling companies in the country. Oh, yeah. Right? When the company came to be, right? And I know a lot of people who have interviewed with me have heard this story. A lot of people who've been around the company know this story. This company's ideas were founded at a Topgolf. Yeah. At a Topgolf.
On a paper napkin.
On a paper napkin, right? And in 2016, when we opened the doors to business, into $2.2 million, at no point did I think that we were going to be 9 years in and be the top 50 of fastest growing remodeling companies.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So, Shane, there's a lot of employees coming in, employees who are still interviewing here, right? Who are kind of looking to accomplish what you've accomplished here, right? Yeah. Some employees that want to buy their first house at 22. Some employees that want to be a VP after being with the company for 5 years, right? Right. The amount that you've accomplished in your short period of time, rising star in marketing, being very successful in marketing, going into sales, accomplishing the same success, right? And maybe nearly being a sales rep for the year, right? But that overall achievement that you've got, what's some advice that you would give somebody here in the company who is looking to have that same success there for themselves?
A lot of it is the basic answers that we hear all the time, right? Consistent training. Always be learning, right? Get a routine together. Figure out what works for you. Always keep that positive mindset no matter what's going on. All of us deal with personal issues. All of us are going to go through the ups and downs. But keeping that level-headed mindset throughout all of it is really what's going to make the elites separate from the greats. You have to go above and beyond, right? You can't just expect to do the bare minimum and become a VP in 5 years, right? Or 6 years, or 7 years, or ever, right? You have to be willing to go above and beyond and do more things than is necessarily asked of you.
I think I was at least there's a saying that kind of goes around, I think, with Chris and I. It's like, Shane cares when he's pissing you off. The amount of times that my phone rings and it's you calling, you're trying to find something to either improve or change for better, right? And whether I agree with it or not, you will fight to try and push it towards the direction that you believe is best for whether it's employees or the company, right? Or for everybody, right? It's just, that's who you are. You truly are a person that does care. And I think anybody that has the privilege and pleasure of being able to speak with you one-on-one, get to know you, go to one of your house parties, which I've been a part of more times than I can count. And most time I can't even remember. Yep. But I just know that I was present. I think they can gain so much knowledge from that, right? Just from you as a person, as an individual, your wisdom, your experiences. And for those guys out there, if you guys are looking for someone to look up to, be a mentor, right? You've got a perfect candidate, a perfect person right here. Maybe not perfect in the sense like he's a perfect person, but a good quality person to kind of look at.
To go back to what you were saying earlier, I think it is very important to challenge, the stereotype of how we run things. Yes, does it piss people off quite frequently? I'm sure it does. But how are we going to improve if nothing's being challenged, if nothing's being, looking to be improved? I found success here, mainly due to all the people, all the leadership that we had when I first started. They taught me almost everything that I know today. And I want to be able to do the same for everybody else that comes into the company.
I mentioned going to 2025 and some things you want to continue to implement, right? Mm-hmm. Some new things that you're kind of putting in your brain, things are kind of running, trying to create. Mm-hmm. What is, I guess, the approach that you want to get, you want to put Virginia in for 2025? Right?
Yeah, I mean, my goal, I talked to David about this before. I was like, what does it take to get to a 3.0 department? He's like, if you're doing it right, you're not going to ever reach that 3.0 average as a department, because you're constantly going to be hiring and promoting and bringing in new rookies and all that, right? So you're always going to have new people in that might not be able to produce 3 sets a day, right? But I want to get there. I want to be able to get to a 3.0 department, and a lot of that is going to come from that rookie training and that continuous 90-day training that we have set in place right now. But I think it does need to be improved drastically in order to get to a 3.0 department, on a quarter or on a year.
Yeah. Who do you think is one person that you have in the Virginia office on your team that is really a standout performer and that you feel is going to kind of be the future and take the Virginia office to new heights, or even overall for the whole entire company?
That's an easy question. Curly.
Yeah.
1,000%.
That's a smart answer, because anybody else you sort of said outside of Curly, they'd be like, so, senior mentor. Check.
Yeah, no, I mean, genuinely, Curly has been a godsend to this department. Everybody loves him. He's an amazing trainer. I think he's got very, very, a very clear path to becoming a VP.
I thought you were going to say deep voice. He does have a deep voice.
He does have a deep voice, but he's got a very clear path to becoming a VP one day. And he makes my life easier and the leadership aspect of things.
He is a joy to be around. I do love talking to Connor.
He's a very good employee.
Yeah. Boys and girls, thanks for joining us today on the second episode of the Prezi Podcast. I hope you guys got to enjoy what you got to see today. Be sure to tune in next month for the third episode. Can't wait to show you guys what we have in store for you then. I have one last favor to ask for you guys. After you watch this video, go down, comment, but also give your feedback on Shane's choice between the jet ski over the Rolex, and really see if what would you have decided on? Would you have gone Rolex or would you have gone jet ski?
So keep in mind that the Rolex was...
So, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate your time once again. You guys have a good one. Can I get a Prezi?
Oh, yeah!